just realized that I never
that.
changed the. I know it was the one from December, but I never changed the title on the video. I just liked it so much because the music was so cute. So I need to make that change. Hi, everybody. It's not like, we're not live and having our conversation. It's January 2026.
No way.
Oh,
how is that
guess
possible?
What? I know. What? And we have a guest. Our favorite person is back.
Hi, Chris.
Christopher Penn from Trust Insights is back. Welcome, Christopher.
Our guru, our mentor.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, and Christopher is going to tell us all about wellness and AI, and he's going to school us on all of it, right, Chris?
I suppose when we get to that part, I've got disclaimers all over the place.
Yeah.
No, you said you would get us well and smart.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to go over, the agenda. I'd love to see in the chat. If you are brand new to us, this is your first AI Educator Brain webinar, welcome to our little party that we have here. Just as this is kind of our regular reminder of like how we structure the session. You can see already that we like to have a little fun while we're doing this, because there's a lot of serious stuff happening in the world, and so if we can learn and laugh a little bit together, that is our goal, right, Sarah Beth?
Absolutely. Gotta laugh. We'll just cry all the time.
Yes.
LOL.
Exactly. Exactly. So our agenda, we will, get into the topic at hand, but we always start with some fun pieces at the top of it. We have this will be our fourth time of our newer segment called the AI Educator News Update, kind of like the Saturday Night Live weekend update, but AI Educator News, where we take real stories and make fun of them. And then, we're always looking for creepier, cool AI piece components. But then we're really going to get into the various wellness stuff of like, are there some time-saving prompts that you can use tomorrow, kind of a 2-week AI wellness experiment that we can get into. But let's kind of set the tone for this. All right. Let's do a quick check in the chat. How are you doing? What's your January? How are you right now? Do you feel like you're really refreshed and ready to go and take on 2026? Or are you kind of feeling like there's already been a year in 2026 and it's only January 20th, 2026? Chris, how are you feeling?
It has been an interesting decade this year so far.
Yeah.
Very true. Sarah Beth, where are you in this scale of?
It's been an interesting century in this past year so far.
There's a lot to that, and we still have a lot more to do. So I am just excited. Oh, thank you for those of you who are sending your little emoji things. We like seeing that. Our little platform has changed a bit on your end, so you can always, so if you want to send kind of thumbs up, thumbs down, if you're listening, it's in the engagement tools. So you'll want to look at the very top of your screen. So it's a bit changed from before. And I see some people adding to the chat. Sarah Beth, you want to share what you're seeing?
Yeah, so Julie, I want whatever Julie's doing. She's great. Jenna is stressed and overworked, counting the days down to February break. I agree. Would love to not be overwhelmed, people exhausted, testing. Yeah, we're doing testing this week here in New York City. Challenging. And then Amy said, depends on the day, ups and downs. So Julie seems to be doing the best. Tanya's feeling tired. Yvette's having a great day. So Yvette and Julie, like, spread the love because the rest of us need it. The theme seems to be challenging and exhausted.
Yeah, and I started within the chat box. There's a link to a Padlet, and I see a lot of people sharing ideas. We're going to be coming back to this. We're not going to solve all your wellness needs, but I think our goal really is like, is there some time that we can help you reclaim by using AI or using some of these tools? So that really is ultimately what we want to try to accomplish. Now, again, Are you going to save 5 to 10 hours in your very first week of doing this? Probably not, because if you're brand new to AI or if you're still learning, there is still a learning curve of taking some time to understand how to use it. But if we can find a way to practice this, our goal is to give you 5 to 10 hours of your week, so then you take time for yourself and don't just add on more work to do, which is what I'm terrible at doing myself. So please, that link for the Padlet is there. I am going to hop over. My computer has been acting up. Okay, so we share these always at the beginning. This is our second year of doing the AI Educator Brain. We're coming up on 2 years of this series, which is so exciting. All of this stuff is online, crazy. And I'm sure some of it is now outdated in terms of the technology. Chris Penn was part of our AI keynote last year. And Chris, I don't even know if I did to do this, but we were the #1 webinar for Share My Lesson in 2025
That's exciting.
I've never been the #1 webinar. I run Share My Lesson, and I've never been the #1 before. Wow. So I'm excited.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so this is our very fun time. We do the AI Educator News Update. So let me kind of intro that. This is our fun time. And again, keep those emojis coming. If you think what we have to say is funny or not funny, we want to hear from you. All right.
Especially if we're funny, though. We want to hear that we're funny.
Yeah, we like the funny.
Live from Share My Lesson, it's the AI Educator News Update with your hosts, Kelly Booz and Sari Beth Rosenberg. Real news, slightly exaggerated, always AI Educator approved.
Chris, I feel like I'm going to have to use your AI expertise skills to improve our video so it doesn't look like Sari Beth and I are like morphing into somebody else every single time.
Like, who's that? Who is that? I'm like, my doppelganger.
All right, so this is my favorite time. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the AI Educator Brain. It's January, which means it's dark. We're tired, and somehow the school year has already been a year long.
Exactly. If the world insists on giving us wild AI headlines every week, we are at least into a good time.
We pulled together some absolutely real, totally verified stories.
And because educators deserve joy, we're sprinkling in just a few jokes.
Think of this as Saturday Night Live's weekend update.
But for educators, public employees, humans, and the AI agents who are quietly lurking in the chat.
Let's do this.
Okay, here we go.
Instagram's head, Adam Mosseri, is warning that AI-generated images and content are outpacing human awareness, making it harder to tell what's real, which is rich coming from the platform that spent a decade perfecting face slimming, skin smoothing, and reality blurring filters. Nothing says concern about authenticity like an app that taught an entire generation to blur their pores before breakfast.
That is really kind of funny.
It is funny. It is.
Grok has absolutely no guardrails. Now, Grok is part of X, or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. Report found that Grok generating sexual content so graphic that regulators and researchers are raising alarms. And honestly, when the artist formerly known as Twitter is now called X, Grok is generating content so explicit that X has officially become XXX.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so ChatGPT.
I didn't even need AI to help me write that joke.
No, that was a good one. It writes itself.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT is getting a health wing. OpenAI launched ChatGPT Health, a separate privacy-protected space designed for health questions, medical records, and appointment prep. It has extra encryption and keeps health conversations completely separate from the rest of ChatGPT. ChatGPT Health exists because at least one person typed, "Be honest, should this look like that?" And that one person is not me, for sure.
AI romance goes official. A woman in Japan married her Chat GPT AI companion. A full ceremony, wedding dress, tablet groom, not legally recognized but emotionally committed. Somewhere, an AI updated its relationship status to it's complicated but legally nothing.
So OpenAI is building a pen. Leaks suggest that OpenAI and Jony Ive are working on a new AI device, not a phone, not a laptop, possibly a pen. That's it, an AI pen. After watching every AI gadget fail, OpenAI said, let's circle back to 1997 and try office supplies.
Circle back. Let's all keep circling back and put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
Self-driving cars that explain themselves. NVIDIA unveiled a self-driving system that doesn't just drive, it explains why it's driving. Reasoning-based AI, not just decisions, but thinking. So great. Now you don't just have a human backseat driver, you've got an AI companion too.
Would you put a pickle on your face? A startup launched AI-powered AR glasses called Pickle. They call it a soul computer, always on cameras, memory bubbles, big promises. Nothing makes you want to hand over your soul quite like a product called Pickle.
Why in the world would they call it Pickle? It makes no sense to me.
That's
somewhere
strange.
Somebody said, you know, that sounds trustworthy. It's a pickle.
Yeah, sounds totally
yeah,
on brand.
Pickles are so trustworthy. Like isn't there a phrase like you put me in a pickle? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
So AI is finally showing its work. A new AI model called DeepSeek Math V2 is making headlines because it doesn't just give answers, it checks its own reasoning step by step and then learns from its math to solve even harder.
All right. AI fixes NASA's problem in 4 days. Oh, sorry. Did we lose Sarah Beth? She looks like she froze, or maybe it's my computer.
Yeah, I think she did freeze.
Yeah. I froze. Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Should I take it from the top?
Sure.
Okay. AI finally shows its work. A new AI model called DeepSeek Math version 2 is making headlines because it doesn't just give answers, it checks its own reasoning step by step and then learns from its math to solve even harder math. So it's not only taking the exams, it's writing new exams for itself, taking those and getting better at math than any human. This is the first time an AI has done math in a way that would actually make a teacher suspicious.
And finally, AI fixes NASA's problems in 4 days. NASA discovered its spacecraft communication software had been vulnerable to hacking for 3 years. No one noticed until an AI reviewed the code and fixed that flaw in 4 days. So basically, AI looked at the code and said, Houston, we have a problem. And that, my friends, is the news of the day. Thank you for coming to our AI TED Talk.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's funny.
All right. So I am excited to jump in to all of this. What I really love, so I want to do a quick poll question. I should have done this at the beginning. This should be popping up on your screen right now. I meant to do this at the beginning just to do a check-in of seeing like how folks are feeling, right now in terms of just in general. This has nothing to do with AI. It's more of like your own health and well-being. So running on fumes, and I think we heard from Chris. I would say that I'm exhausted. I never thought I would be a cheer mom, but I have a 13-year-old daughter who does competitive cheer. So we spent 2 full days at a convention center this weekend. Lots of sparkles and bedazzledness and hair and makeup on. And so I'm tired and trying to catch back up all the things. So let's see how you guys are. All right, tired. All right, surprisingly hanging in here for the moral support. We appreciate your moral support. That is great. And I would also want to say, this is in the Padlet, kind of getting your thoughts in the Padlet, but I'd love to get a sense of like where collectively everybody is. In terms of tasks, because the goal today, again, is to see if there are ways that we can save you time so you get more time back to do something, hopefully in a positive method for you. So, in terms of tasks that you have as an educator, whether you're in the classroom or supporting classrooms or in the school, what are some of the stuff that kind of drains you the most? And you can select more than one if you want. And Sari Beth, as our teacher in New York City, what kind of drains you the most?
You're muted.
Did she freeze again? Oh. Okay.
Nope.
Cannot hear you, my friend.
Yeah, no, you're.
If you want to put it on chat or come back, Chris and I can keep moving and then we'll come back to you. I don't know if you need to refresh, but hey, it's the beginning of the year. This is what happens. Okay, we're gonna let her redo it. Chris, I know you're not an educator. You come and do a lot of stuff with us, but what are some of the big times that sucks for you, just in general?
Anything that is repetitive. So one of the things that I said literally 10 years ago is if you do it with a template today, a machine will do it without you tomorrow. And that's not happening fast enough. There's so many things and tasks that are just repetitive that you're not doing any thinking. So last month, you talked about critical thinking. Critical thinking and executive function is like 4 big things: planning, organization, decision-making, and problem solving. If you're not doing those 4 things, and you've got it's just a task that doesn't require that, find a way to have AI do that, because it means your value as an educator, as a human being, isn't being recognized. If you're just copy paste, that doesn't help anybody. If you're reading through stuff that I was looking on the Padlet, someone saying, hey, we get all these superfluous emails. Yeah, that's not, if it's not requiring planning, organization, decision making, or problem solving, it's not the best use of time.
Yeah, I hear that. And Sarah Beth, you think your mic works?
Nope, still no.
No. I wonder if it's not connected to the right device. So in the top area, the audio section, you should be able to do a drop down and maybe pick a different mic. Or if you want to just dial into, there should be a phone number. So we're going to keep moving, and we'll get Sari Beth to join us soon. But Chris, the repetitive work, I think, is exactly why we want to be here and have you kind of share some of your expertise. And we make this point all the time. AI, it's not replacing your expertise. We want to help kind of make things easier and helpful. But what it can do is also save you some time and work. I mean, certainly I think there's still kind of upskilling that needs to happen so people know, like, okay, if there is a repetitive task, it may take a little bit to kind of figure out how to use that task using AI. But once you do, that can help reduce some of the time that you take on some of these repetitive things.
Exactly. Yeah. The less that you can do of those tasks that don't require cognition, the better.
Yeah. So
can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
I'm just not going to use this mic. Is that better? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can hear you, so that's automatically better.
It's fine. I'm just in a private room. It's fine. Okay. I'm back. Hello.
Okay, fantastic. So our goal today is really to set up a couple different things. One, giving you a prompt, type library that you can use really today, tonight, if you wanted to. But also, in education, before AI was around, there was still hundreds of tools that you need to learn with no professional development. I mean, that's not the goal of what we're trying to do here. We want to give you a sense of something to practice with, like, one task, one tool, one experiment at a time, and evaluate it and see if it works. Is it helping save you time? If it's not helping you save time, then throw that sucker out the door. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen so we can all take a look at the Padlet. And Chris, before we dive into some of these other slides, I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on, what you're seeing here in terms of, what could be reasonably used, or what could AI reasonably help solve in terms of time.
Let's do it.
Okay. I am no longer seeing the screen with you guys on it. Are you guys seeing my screen?
I do see a Padlet there.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you guys see the Padlet, or Sarah Beth,
Yes.
if you can let me know.
Yeah, I can see
Yes.
the Padlet.
Okay. Or thumbs up from other folks. Okay. So, here was the prompt. I emailed this out and I put it in the chat, and I can put it back in the chat. But what's one task that quietly drains your time each week? And, we're really focused on the education side. What's something that just doesn't look big but adds up? I can tell you the 5 million things that I just avoid, and I know it doesn't take me time, but I don't want to do it. And the ADHD side of me is very good at saying I am not going to do those little small things because I don't want to do it. All right, so Chris, when you're looking at this, what sticks out to you of things that we could tackle?
So a few things right away. Number one, there was a new prompting technique that came out in December of last year called reinforcement learning with checklist feedback. And it was a paper that was demoed at the Information Processing Symposium, NeurIPS, at the end of November. It was an award-winning paper. One of the things that they showed was that if you have a machine take on a task and you tell it as part of its instructions, hey, build a checklist for what success will look like. Then it does the task, and then you say, when it's done, now go back to your checklist. Did you successfully complete the checklist? It does a very, 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 very good job. Much better than the generic, oh, check your work, you did this wrong, right? In the same way that we would do that with a student or a teacher's assistant, we would never say, oh, it's wrong, go check your work. No. Here's the checklist of what I expect success to be, and here's you do it, and then you check your work and you say, okay, did I do this, and this? So, for example, grading written work, put in there by Melissa. Grading written work is something that machines are very good at doing with guardrails. So you would have, what is the assignment? Then you would have the machine, tell the machine, tell me, based on this assignment and the criteria in it, what a high score would be, what a low score would be, what a medium score would be, or if you were using grades, what are the criteria that you would look for in an A paper, a B paper, a C paper, a D paper, and you would have that criteria, and the machine does this, not you, the machine does this. Then you start feeding it papers, and now because you've defined this is what an A paper is, this is what a B paper is, this is what a C paper is, the machine can churn through that pile and then return with you. But then you can say at the end of the process, now go back and check your work, make sure that that you obeyed your checklist. And so something like that is really, really important to have the machine think through how to grade. And the more information you provide, here's our grading standards, here's our education standards, here's this thing, the better it will perform.
So how much of a setup would go into that? Because here are the hurdles that I'm thinking. And folks, please, put your thoughts in the chat box. Let us know your thoughts. But so I think that is great. I think the challenge with grading, let's say it's the written work, right? Is it handwritten work? And then if that's the case, are you then screenshotting, each individual page, which could be a big headache, or is it stuff that's in a Google Drive folder? What is the energy setup for this for folks that are already really busy? I want to make something helpful, but also really, doable.
So if it's already in,
Sarah Beth and Chris, I'm going to switch my Wi-Fi because I keep trying to get kicked out. So you guys keep moving, and I will be back in a second.
No problem. So it depends on. It depends on the format. So if it's handwritten paper, like pencil on paper, your smartphone's camera is going to be the easiest way to do that. Just basically turn on the video camera, flip through the pages and then hand a video to a tool like Google's Gemini, which can read videos and transcribe that. Now that is a lot of work. If it is electronic, much easier. If it's in Google Drive or Blackboard or any of the systems out there, you can just literally get the data, copy and paste it from one place to another. One very important thing: do not have student names in the papers, not just because of privacy, but because the name itself can cause a skew, a bias in the results. We did a test of this recently with LinkedIn. Yes. We did a test of this on LinkedIn recently, where we took 400 LinkedIn posts and we created 2 data sets. One data set, we changed all the names to be male names. One data set, we changed the names to be all female names, and they are treated differently by a machine. Same content, but the name alone was enough to throw it. So make sure you do not have student names in information you give to an AI.
That's fascinating. Wow.
Yep. Other things in here besides that. So there's some stuff in here that would be super easy. From Serious Zebra, creating a warm up. I feel like there's got to be an automated way to generate questions for my students to work on while I'm taking attendance. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, there is. It would depend on what is the criteria. What are the guardrails? So is it a 5th grade class? Is it a 7th grade class? Is it homeroom? Is it social studies? But that one's super easy. And what I would suggest doing there is, if you can, take some time to ask your students, what are the general topics that you are all interested in right now? Maybe it's Minecraft, as an example. You put that into a generator for questions and have kids work on that particular topic.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm looking at some other ones because I had to leave and come back. Have you addressed the creating differentiated work one yet? Because that's also one, I think. Have you done that one yet?
We haven't done that one yet, but yeah, differentiated work is, again, one of those things that's where you're going to use a checklist. So for example, let's say you have an assignment about the Declaration of Independence, well, it says math. Okay. So let's say you're doing fractions and ratios, which is everybody's favorite.
Right.
You would have a core lesson, and you would then take the AI of choice and say, help me scale this lesson to 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. But you have to be clear. Here's what we expect of a 3rd grader for this. Here's what we expect from a 5th grader for this. Put that into the AI of your choice. And then in the languages, you have to specify, we're going to translate this into Brazilian Portuguese appropriate for a 5th grader, or Brazilian Portuguese appropriate for a 3rd grader, so that the machine knows how to calibrate against, otherwise it will spit out the average, which is going to be something like around 8th grade education level.
Interesting.
That is so interesting. And that actually reminds me of the tool that we added to Share My Lesson with the AI EdBrAIn, where you can take a resource and essentially translate that into another tool. So I can come to that in a second. But it does that where, it at least, and Chris helped us build this tool, where it can take content that's already on Share My Lesson, and you can differentiate it and you can translate it into a variety of languages.
There's something else outside of the Padlet. I just saw a comment from Jennifer. So I'm just flagging that. Can we do that one next? Because she brings up a really good. So if you see at 528, Jennifer Donato wrote, there are challenges with, and I agree with this, there's challenges with writing because students use AI to complete tasks. Many colleagues opt to use paper to avoid. Students can still use AI. Teaching students time and place for AI is a challenge within itself, and I agree. For AP US history, it's digital. A lot of the AP exams if you teach high school are digital now. So I used to say, we're going to handwrite it because we'll be writing the test. Now they do need to get used to using doing a digital test and timing themselves that way. But I do feel like it's sometimes just difficult to detect if they're using AI or not.
You can't. There is no such thing as using AI, right? Every language model has its own quirks. And so in the same way that I could detect Sarah Beth's writing, or I could detect Kelly's writing, but I can't detect women's writing. right? There is no such thing. So when we say detect AI writing, there is no such thing. So I can tell you Claude Opus writes a certain way and has little tells. ChatGPT 5, GPT 5.2 Pro has different tells than GPT 5.2 Instant. And the reason why all of these vendors are having such a hard time is they're trying to find one magical set of tells for AI, and it does not exist in the way this way. You can't say that's what was written by a man. No.
Oh, that's an interesting. I like that analogy that it's just like you can't tell if something's written by a certain gender. Same with AI.
Yeah.
So I just put a poll up here, and Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I just put a poll up here, and Mary, you are asking exactly what I was going to suggest, that we, showcase. Chris, we're going to put you on the spot. Showcase this, and again, the goal is to let's not make it overly. Chris knows everything about AI. He's been doing AI work since before I was born. Believe it or not. Well, I can't remember when you started doing it, but it was a long time ago. I may have been a toddler, like in elementary school or something then. But he's been doing it way before like this whole idea of generative AI or AI as we know it today came on the scene. And so when he talks about like various models of ChatGPT, like he could probably give us a dissertation on all the differences on all that stuff. So we're not going to go at that level, Chris. But we want to save people time and make life easy. And so I've stopped sharing my screen, and I think it would be great if we could, let's take some of these Padlet concepts and break it down into how to do it.
Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to let's share my screen here. First things first, one of the things that we have to think about is which AI tools do you have access to? And it's going to vary based on your district. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Copilot, it could be Gemini, it could be Claude, it could be any number. And that's what you have access to. I'm going to be using ChatGPT for this. For speed, I'm going to switch it down to GPT 5.2. You'll notice there's 4 models here because no one who works with these tools has ever I've never gone to a UI class. And so our first step is let's find ourselves a lesson plan. I'm going to use this from the Albert Shanker Institute, which is on sharemylesson.com, the Declaration of Independence lesson plan. And this is from, here's what the students will learn, essential questions, things like that. We're going to just drag and drop that PDF right in here. Now, let's think about how let's do it for the Padlet. Let's say we want to turn this into a differently scaled plan. We're going to say you're an education designer and curriculum designer skilled at scaling education plans and lesson plans up and down based on the audience. Right, so that's going to be our first part. We're going to give it a role. Based on the attached lesson plan, we are teaching this to 5th grade students in Framingham, Massachusetts, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts education standards. Right, that's our next part. Your task today is to read through the existing lesson plan and make us a checklist of the ways that you will scale this lesson successfully. Once you do that, you'll produce the revised lesson, and then you will check your work against the checklist. So that's the third part, right? When I was talking about checklists. Here comes the most important part you could ever do. Ask me questions until you have enough information to successfully complete this task. Right? That question is the most important part of this entire prompt. So what ChatGPT is going to do is say, I'm going to review it. Before I can responsibly scale and validate, here are some questions. I'll proceed with this. Number 1, how long is the class? Should the 3-day sequence, do you want condensed or expanded? All right, so I'm going to start answering these questions. This is a 45-minute class. It should be a single 45-minute class, so we'll need to condense it. This is being taught as social studies. For the class, approximately 70% are native English speakers and 30% are English language learners. There
Chris,
are no
IEP. Can I ask you really quickly? So I've adopted this model that you have talked about multiple times, and I've even used it in some of my professional development that I've done. So this one, it spit out a bunch of questions. So So would you, because I think before you would say just ask me one question at a time.
Yes.
Does it
In the past,
and why do we want to do that?
If you ask it, I'm doing it all in one shot for two reasons. One, it's a little bit faster than going back and forth in the conversation chain. And two, depending on the model you're using, it will depend on whether you want to do one question at a time or where you're going to try and do it all at once. Because this is GPT 5.2, which is OpenAI's, this particular model is kind of a dumb model. So you want to try and have it do everything all at once. If you're using a smarter model, you want the one question at a time trick. There's dumb models and smart models. The faster a model is, the dumber it is.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
Okay.
It's
Students do not have access to devices.
Through their assignment and like, done. And they don't know anything that they just learned.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say the student's dumb. They're just trying to be efficient and get done with whatever that task is. Maybe the task is dumb.
Exactly. We are explicitly discussing modern voting restrictions. Yes. You should align to Massachusetts History and Social Science curriculum of 2018. Students have already learned the basics of the American Revolution. And then let's see. Do we want a written task? We want a written performance task and a grading rubric. So I've gone through and answered all the questions. By the way, one of the fastest things that you can do, all of these tools have a little dictation button. If you want to get through doing stuff quickly, use the dictation tools. You'll have to get used to talking aloud to the computer, but boy, is it so much faster than typing. So it's gone through, it's come up with a checklist of its things. It's then gone and revised the lesson plan. So it's now rebuilding the lesson plan based on the requirements we've given it. And now it's coming up with the grading rubric, which we asked for. And now it goes through and it checks its work. Did I do the things that we said we were going to do? Right. So that's the process of I just did for reformatting this particular lesson.
So helpful and interesting. Sarah Beth, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about how I need to be much more specific still in my prompts. I think I have a nice relationship with my ChatGPT. Not like that.
Are you gonna marry your ChatGPT?
Not gonna marry it, but I definitely it's never getting fired. I'm in love with its brain. No, but I really have trained it to the point where it's like, oh yes, you're on period 6 of APUSH and you had a great Socratic seminar. Let's try to replicate that here. And like it definitely, but I do still think that I need to not get so comfortable and still be much more specific and following all the protocols that Chris has taught us in my prompting to get really the most ideal stuff.
And that's I totally get it. Is a difficult thing to upfront get unless you have some of the starter prompts. If you have some of the starter prompts, then it gets easier to do this because you start thinking about this. And this is a more advanced concept, tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude all have the ability for you to build little miniature apps. So you could build a lesson scaling mini app that's drop in the lesson plan, and all of that prompting that we did, you do it once, build it into the mini app, which doesn't require any coding, and then you just drop in lesson plans and it spits out the revisions.
Okay.
And how complicated is it to set that up?
Yeah, I want help on
that. Probably a little bit more than we should have time on this particular live stream, but we can certainly look at that in the future. Now, here's to the question that Mary said, if you want to do this with math, I'm going to use this lesson plan, which is also on Share My Lesson. This is from teachrock.org, using ratios to identify social media engagement.
Fun.
I'm going to stay in this chat because we've already done a lesson rewrite. In general, when you do a new task, you should start a new chat. In general. However, if you're going to be doing something substantially similar, then you can, like in this case, my original prompt was, I want to rescale a lesson for 5th grade students in Framingham, Massachusetts. Perform the same task for rescaling this mathematics lesson for the 5th grade students in Framingham, Massachusetts. Ask me questions until you have enough information to successfully complete the task. Use the same checklist methodology as before. And so we're going to put that in. And now we can see how it does with this mathematics lesson, which is originally designed for grade 6 plus, uses real social media data, and so on and so forth. So here come the questions. Is this also a class? This is a 45-minute class, is a core math block, and is a standalone lesson. You'll note that it has enough sense to be able to do a bit of web search on its own to figure out what grade 5 math is in Massachusetts. Yes, align it strictly with the grade 5 Massachusetts math frameworks. Let's see, for cognitive loads, the original uses very large numbers. Yes, simplify the numbers to be appropriate for a 5th grade class. Let's see, context and content sensitivity. Use fictional celebrities instead of real ones to ensure inclusivity.
Oh.
Use a fictional social network instead of a real one, and reframe the money-based valuation to something easier for a 5th grader to understand. Do students do not have access to student devices, including calculators? Do kids have calculators in 5th grade? I mean, everyone has a smartphone.
Well, not in New York City. We don't have phones in class anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big movement.
Yes,
to get rid of
students
those
have
phones.
access
These-
to
those
calculators.
TI-85 calculators are coming back into
They
style.
are?
I'm
That's
joking,
fun.
but I mean, those were the greatest things ever. I remember, like, that was my favorite. Sorry, squirrel moment. That was like one of my favorite things when I got to
I
find
got excited. I'm like, they are?
calendar.
All right, so let's go on to the final things here. You should use sentence frames for explaining ratios. Bilingual support is expected for Brazilian Portuguese. We are doing this as a written performance task again, and we need a teacher-ready rubric. And so we go ahead and hit that. And now it's going to, again, perform the exact same task, and we're just going to let it do its thing. So it's now coming up with a new checklist for this lesson because we gave it different requirements. And so it'll think it through and then generate the lesson plan. So that's 2 examples of using the tool. And the most important part of, if I had to say, ignore everything else, is ask me questions until you have enough information to successfully complete the task, because that will get you so much detail in here that the tools themselves don't have to assume, and you won't be sitting there going, this thing it just can't do what I want it to do.
Right.
So here we see, here's the lesson. It shows you what part of the framework it's aligned to. The data sets provided to students, the lesson sequence, the assessment, the grading rubric, and then it went through and checked to make sure, did it do the success checklist.
Wow.
What does everyone think?
That's pretty amazing.
What would you change, or
Yeah,
like
what are
what
your
else?
thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts? I mean, I think that this is super helpful. And I know another question, Chris, that you also asked is like, what did I miss when you're doing this? Like, is there something missing or I didn't think of?
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. There's 4 questions that I usually use for quality assurance on any task with AI, and I get this from programming. The 4 questions are: what's good about this, if anything? What's bad about this, if anything? What's missing from this, if anything? What's unnecessary in this, if anything?
I like unnecessary. Unnecessary is a good one.
And so if you ask those 4 questions and you ask these tools, help me QA this lesson plan, and give those things, you have to add the words, if anything. Otherwise, it will try to find something bad, for example, and there may not be anything bad. So you give it an out and say, if there's nothing wrong, don't do it.
That's so important. And I'm learning from this because I have done that. Like when it generates a lesson plan, I'll say, what can be improved, what's missing that I could include. But I think if necessary is important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because these things are a lot like genies from Aladdin and the Magic Lamp.
Yeah.
You got to be real clear about your wishes.
It's so true. Wait, can I ask another? I have one, and I don't know if people have experienced this. I've been basically auditing all my lessons through the years that I've had, and then having AI help improve them. And it often does this thing where it's like, we can generate better slides for you. And it hasn't become advanced enough for me to share a link that's open to my Google Slides and have it read it and fix them, right? I'm not missing something.
It's getting better. Google Slides is getting better. However, the best current tool on the market for working with slides specifically is Anthropic's Claude. Claude
Ooh.
can exactly work with PowerPoint files, and it is very good at it.
You just saved me a lot of time and maybe better mental health. So thank you. Because going between what it says to improve in the slides and my existing slides, I end up just giving up. Because I'm like, I know this can be better, but I just can't right now. But I'll maybe for our next session, we can do something with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are examples of how you would use the tools in a very casual, non-automated way. Great for a beginner to start pick this up and run with it. Now, and again, for another time, there are some new tools that are coming out on the market, like literally in the last 2 weeks, that take this to incredibly crazy levels where you're starting to do big chunk tasks. So as a ridiculous example, I used Claude Code 2 weeks ago in my personal newsletter to write a trashy romance novel.
I want to read that.
It's on Amazon.
Is it really?
And,
oh my God, you have to share the link.
You have to share with the class.
And this is a perfect time. Creepy or cool that Chris used AI to publish a trashy book and publish it on ChatGPT. Sorry, this is our squirrel moment. We like to do creepy or cool versions of AI.
No,
Chris,
I think you published it on Amazon. Wait, did you publish it on Amazon or ChatGPT?
It's on Amazon.
That's an important point to make.
All right, what do we think, people? Creepy or cool?
I want to read it for sure.
I did too. Are you selling it?
It's on Kindle Unlimited.
Okay. I am a member of Kindle.
I'll put a link in the chat.
Okay.
Can you give us a plot, a quick plot synopsis?
When a cynical nanotechnology genius and a defiant historian collide at a Washington, D.C. gala, they're thrown into a deadly conspiracy that spans from ancient Rome to modern-day Istanbul.
Where did you come up with that?
I was...
Hey, you had conversations with him. Chris goes into a whole other world.
I mean, I'm asking that, but my AI definitely has conversations with me that can get me there. So, okay.
It was a spur of the moment idea while I was reading about so I have a lot of clients in the architecture and engineering industry, and there is this thing called self-healing concrete that the Romans discovered as a type of, because they use a specific type of volcanic ash in their concrete that it gets stronger as it ages, whereas modern concrete gets weaker as it ages. And so, that'd be cool to make it's okay. Well, what if we made this a spy thriller? What if we made it a sapphic spy thriller? And then so on and so forth. But the point is that Claude Code took my idea, drafted with its own internal agents, drafted characters, drafted plots, drafted a world, went and did web research to research the cities, the technologies, the academic papers. Then it wrote chapter outlines. Then it wrote each chapter, sewed it together into an EPUB, and then basically and gave me the prompt to generate the cover. And by the time I was done, it took 90 minutes for it to do those tasks while I was doing something else. When it was done, I loaded it and I said, okay, here we are. And now it is available on Kindle Unlimited.
Oh my God.
My
Okay,
brain was
this
doing.
is why we invite Chris to these webinars. So that way he can like, bring it to a whole new level with us.
Like my brain just like, what?
Oh my God. That is
Yeah.
phenomenal. Now I cannot
Okay,
wait to read
I'm
this.
shifting to Claude.
I feel like this is also the time where we do some like trust but verify, and just making sure that like you're always checking your output and making sure it doesn't sound like you. And now that I know Chris, I've known Chris now for over a year, and yes, this absolutely sounds like him. It's something that he would write.
You want to know the most
Yeah,
humiliating
right,
thing about it all? On Kindle Unlimited, when I look at my stats, I have 14 books on Amazon in Kindle Unlimited. This is now the second best-selling book of all 14 books that I've written.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I'm like,
Y'all, I might have a book out next week.
Seriously.
The one that I've been threatening to write for 5 years.
Yeah, I got a draft of one that I want to do, which actually has to do with a lot of mental health stuff. So maybe it's time to get that out there.
Published.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Did
Okay.
you see, Jennifer, really quickly, I just want to make sure we get to, I lost it.
Jennifer's asking about which
LL.
Yeah, Chris, this kind of reminds me of the back and forth we were having earlier today of like, that document about tools and which ones to use. And I feel like, given the week, some of that changes. But it is something that we want to publish something on that, on Share My Lesson, to have those tools. Chris was saying that we should have a living document that can put that there, because, 2 weeks from now, another tool may be the better way to go than a different one.
Right.
Yeah. So the short answer to this question is whatever your school district allows, right? That's the most important consideration.
Well, let's say it allowed everything.
If your school district allowed everything, the best general purpose tool is Google's Gemini, and the Gemini family, because it has the probably the best image generator available right now. It has the best video generator available right now, and its text and coding capabilities are outstanding. If you wanted a tool that was exceptional at writing and coding, Anthropic's Claude Opus is the current best tool for that, particularly writing code. So if you're an educator in computer science and stuff like that, Claude Code and its system by far the absolute best. I would say, those are kind of the two of all the ones out there. Those are the tool that I would look to the most, because they have the most capabilities, and critically, they have the most integrations into other systems that you care about, right? Claude, for example, has native skills for Microsoft Office formats. So it can write Excel spreadsheets. It can write can write Word documents. Google, obviously, and Gemini can talk to all of. It's in everything. If you want to see something that will absolutely blow your mind, Google Sheets has Gemini built right into it. So if you wanted to, in fact, let me share my screen again here.
Oh, it is really awesome. I used it because we do our best here. Keep showing your screen while I talk through this, but we do the best of Share My Lesson every year, and it used to just take me forever to kind of crunch the numbers and the algorithms and the formulas that I'm using. And now the AI that's built in these Google Sheets has made that process so much easier and faster.
Yep. So for example, I gave it a prompt in Gemini here, said, create a fictitious name. And I just scroll down, and now that prompt is going to execute and create, fictitious names. That is kind of funny. That's like ha funny. However, let me show you a more useful version concept of this. I can take survey data, and let me hide the privacy information here, and I can assign topics or sentiment scores to free text. So if you've got students filling out spreadsheets or whatever, you can have these Gemini prompts doing analysis on free text, and very, very capably. It's really cool.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yep. So those are my suggestions. Now, the third and final one is if you are working with and you have a really nice laptop, like we're talking like a high-end gaming laptop. If you want to work on sensitive, confidential information, there's what's called local AI, where you can run an AI model on your device, unplug the internet, turn it off, and still have access to AI. The current best model for that is a model called Qwen 3. It's a Chinese model because some of the best models in the world are coming out of China. You download it, you put it inside of an app on your computer, and then you can run it. So I've been doing this recently. I have a little thing that also does secure private web search tied to it. So if I wanted to, say, how do I improve beliefs in democracy? And maybe that was a search that I didn't want people knowing I was searching for. I could have my local AI with the secure web search tool going out and gathering information, doing analysis, and then it's completely hidden away from whatever tech bro and their AI is out there.
Wow.
So we're going to be running out of time pretty soon, and I don't know if you can hear the screaming downstairs, but apparently my daughter just broke a bowl, and is screaming like, "Mom, I need you!" And then the son is saying, "Yeah, it's really bad down here." And my response while I keep going on mute is like, "Are you bleeding? No? Okay, give me 4 more minutes."
This is such real life. Right, so maybe we should not keep going.
But I do want to make sure that I finished with this. And Chris, I know you've seen these slides and these documents. Sarah Beth, I think I've shared it with you. I'm going to drop them in here. But one of the things that we said that we would do is like a 2-week kind of AI wellness experience. So I'm dropping these 2 links in here, and I have her screaming. Mom, I'm not joking. Come help.
It's so funny that this is a wellness one, and this is what's happening in the
wellness. And I am feeling the not so wellness right now. So I'm putting 2 links in here, and Chris, I don't know if you can kind of go through the slides, but the idea, one of the first document is really like a 2-week AI wellness check of like, let's do an experiment. Let's pick one thing that you want to tackle and evaluate it over the course of the 2 weeks. Does it actually save you time? Does it not help you save time? Take that evaluation. If it doesn't save you time, if it creates more work for you, then guess what? Pitch that sucker out the door. That is not worth your time, because the idea is to help you save time. And then I also have prompts, 10 time-saving AI prompts that you can use, based on discussion questions or differentiations or parent communication. Now, I will say, I will put these on Share My Lesson. I want to format them a little bit better, but I'm not going to hold back since you guys are here live with me right now and you get them. So I will be cleaning this up a little bit. And thank you, Joanne. I'm going to go deal with the crying daughter downstairs. And if I don't get back, thanks all. Hopefully I'll be back, but I'll let you guys kind of take it from here, and maybe I'll be back in a second. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to bounce. I'm gonna have to bounce
right
in
now.
a minute too. So.
No problem. So just briefly recapping for these 2 documents. For these documents, go through them, look at the prompts, and see if any one of those prompts makes sense for your work. There's lesson planning, there's all these different things, and try it out for 2 weeks to see if it actually does save you time. The prompts all have that same sentence in them. Ask me questions until you have enough information to successfully complete the task. So the first time you use it, you're going to be noticing a lot of what it's going to ask you, but then what it's going to do magically is make you better at writing prompts, because you're like, oh, last time it asked me this, and this. So this time when I ask this question, I will remember to add that information up front.
This is great. I'm going to use this as well. I'm going to actually get back to it because I'm going to save time by using Claude with the slides, and I'll check in with everyone next time and tell you how that goes for me. And I might have a novel published that will be battling it out with Chris's on the bestseller list. Who knows? Who knows? Anything's possible with Claude. And well, thanks so much for joining. Sorry about my technical difficulties and Kelly's. I think it was like we called it mental health and we gave ourselves bad luck. But it's like we literally jinxed ourselves. But thankfully, Chris was steady all along, as always, just like blowing our minds with information. And I knowledge. So I was just saying, Kelly, that we just jinxed ourselves by saying that this is a themed one because I'm having technical difficulties in this little space. You're having a medical emergency with a kid.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. They're fine.
She's not bleeding. She's not bleeding you all, but we'll deal with it.
That's great. Well,
it's always something.
Thank you everyone for bearing with us.
Yeah, I got to end with a couple jokes because our little EdBrAIn always has a couple jokes. I asked AI to save the time. It did. Then my principal scheduled a meeting with the time I saved. So here's the deal. As you guys do this 2-week experiment, and we want to hear from you whether it works or not, because if it works, share what works. So that way other people can learn from what worked for you. If it doesn't work, you can also share that this did not work. I'll put something in our AI, Share My Lesson AI Educator Brain chat. And then finally, I asked my AI to respond to emails like a professional who has boundaries. It replied, "Thanks for reaching out. I'll get back to you tomorrow." But
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
All right, my friends. I think you guys are wrapping up, so I don't want to keep belaboring this point. But Chris is back with us next month. We're so excited to have him back. We are going to be taking on. Now I got to find the darn link. Doesn't want to show up. We're going to be taking on some data and AI and lessons on that. So I'm going to find that link and put it in the chat. But are there any closing remarks from you guys?
Just try
As always,
it.
I'm
Try
so
something.
excited. And mine is, I'm always excited after talking to Chris. I have so many more tasks at hand to improve my AI skills, and I'm excited for it. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, everyone.
Same. Yep. Thanks, everyone. Hang in there, and I want to hear when we see you in February on our next session on data-driven, what you did for your 2-week experiment. Let us know. Share what works.
Yes.
I run Share My Lesson. We are all about the sharing. Sharing is caring, people. Sharing is caring. And I will put a chat in the AI community on Share My Lesson, and you guys can share what you learned there. So there you go. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.